Today I have the pleasure of speaking with Joseph Carrabba. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thanks, Tracy.
And of course, you're on the board of directors for NioCorp Developments, and you recently put out your PEA announcements, and we'd love your feedback on what this means.
Great, thanks very much, and thanks for the opportunity to talk to everybody and all of the shareholders and investors that are out there today. Yes, as a company, we were excited to release the PEA. I will say this for Mark Smith, the CEO, and Peter Dickie, the president. They did not rush the PEA when they got to the final numbers, which I think is important for the investors to understand. There was a lot of time, even a little extraordinary time spent on the preliminary estimate before we go into feasibility. So I know there may be some surprise around the capital number of a $900 million plus number that goes with it. But in today's world, that's the cost of doing business in the mineral and mining business it is today. Even with that, it supports an extremely robust IRR of the 14–15% before and after the NPV and taxes that go with it. But I think particularly where the investor should focus on is it's a 36-year mine life. It has high grades of material, particularly for the ferro niobium, and it's got an EBITDA of $177 million. So the cash is going to be strong through the remaining years. It's a long-lived project that goes with it. And the economics, even at this point with the high capital number that some people may have projected a little less, it's still an extremely strong project at this stage.
So with the Elk Creek project, I noticed that the extraction cost for the niobium was quite competitive, and I think some people may have stepped over that. Would you like to speak to that?
I would, and I think you're exactly right. You know, with the grade that we've got of the 0.82%, which is a pretty high grade that we've got with it for the underground mine, when we step back and we only have to mine 3,700 tons a day, if you will, that's a pretty small underground mining operation. And when you start shrinking that back into the scale of this project, so for the shaft development that we're going to put in, that's really where I think it makes us competitive to go with us. We've used the top mineral processing engineers in the world really for these processes, as well as the rare earth processes that follow on that go with it. And again, I think the team has done a great job driving the operating costs down, but the fundamentals are high grade, which every miner loves to have. It's hard to beat high grade when you have that going in, and the lower tonnage that produces out of that underground mine, it helps shrink the size of the infrastructure.
So for all of the InvestorIntel audience members who may not appreciate who I'm actually speaking to right now, you previously served as the chairman, president, and CEO of Cliffs Natural Resources, and you're currently sitting on two very prominent boards, Newmont Mining and of course TimkenSteel. I have to ask you, what made you decide or elect to be on the board for NioCorp? You must believe you really have something great here.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, I've spent my whole life, 40 years, in the extractive industries, from coal to iron ore to gold to diamonds. I ran the Diavik project out of Yellowknife in the Northwest Territories for once in my life, and have had the opportunity to live around the world in a variety of different areas in this. When this project propped up, I've known Mark Smith, the CEO, for many, many years through the his Molycorp days, Chevron before that, and then our association and the National Mining Association. And I think one, as a company, we've got just one of the best CEOs we could have coming into a startup project. That was one of the allures of it. I met Peter Dickie in Vancouver, again, a veteran, if you will, in the Canadian mining scene, and was very comfortable with the top management of the company from there. As I read through the technical reports, I spent the day in Denver with the technical group and with Scott Honan, the VP of the technical services, as well as with the SRK people. I'm very excited about the project, Tracy. You know, they always have their glitches as they go, and you have your hard parts with it, but it's hard to find the negative in this project. It's niobium is going to continue to grow as we go forward. I think the technical aspects are getting solved as we go forward using some of the best engineering services in North America that we have right now. I'm excited, hopefully, to give my technical skills, my operating skills that go with it, project expertise, both good and bad, that you learn as you go along with this to help support this project and get it over the line, get it financed, and get it in construction and into operation. So very excited about this one, and I've had the opportunity since my retirement with Cliffs to look at many, and this is the one I've chosen.
So Joseph, in lieu of your substantial experience in the resource sector, would you mind telling us what you think about the actual global market for niobium, scandium, and titanium?
Sure, I'd be glad to, Tracy, with the knowledge that I have. Let's start with, I'm going to start with the minority pieces first, which is the titanium, which are just nice kickers to the project, if you will. It was nice to see them come through on secondary circuits, and all of a sudden we have some different products to sell. Everything is cyclical, as you know, even as much as the niobium is anti-cyclical, if you will. But for the titanium, let's just start there. I mean, you know, it's got broad uses. It's been in the industry for a long, long time. It's mainly a photocatalyst for white pigments and paints and things like that that you would think about with. But goes on into a vast array of products into aerospace. The one big technical aspect, and when it gets into the metal side versus the oxide side, is it's very corrosive resistance against chlorine. So it's used in many of the applications at the high end, aerospace and everything that goes with it. If you go to the next one, which is a very unusual mineral, the scandium that comes with it as well. Again, another of the rare earth, you know, in the lanthides, an yttrium type of population. If you look on the chemical elemental charts that go with it all the way through. Very small usage, used again very high end. It's starting to come into solid fuel cells that go with it. This is one where I think the aspect why the market maybe hasn't grown is there just hasn't been a stable resource to get this product. I think if this product becomes available from a US-based mine versus China or some of the stockpiles that are being worked off in Russia, I think when the investors such as the aluminum industry for the defense programs, when they start looking at stable supplies, they will probably put more research into scandium for the aerospace industry that goes with it. So I think that's a chicken and egg thing, and I think we can very much be on the forefront of this one as a U.S. supplier of that product as well. So that's rather intriguing. Very small tonnage in the world market, but intriguing. The niobium or ferro niobium as it comes in, as you know, again, it's a lightweighting aspect for an alloy for steel. It works very well in high temperatures. It's very stable that goes with it. So as we get into superconducting materials, such as the superconduction of magnets or on jet airplanes, once again, I mean, everybody wants to go faster, stronger, quicker. Heat comes up, and there's a lot of resistance that goes with it. So I think while niobium has already found its place in the lightweighting of not only iron but also aluminum, I think you'll see the growth of that because I don't see any of that slowing down, and technology is only being slowed down in those areas now because they don't have the materials of construction to keep up with the thinking that's going on. So I think the supply demand, that's the demand side, if you will. If you go to the supply side, there's 3 active mines for niobium in the world. It's hard to find where the scandium comes from, and I literally mean that as it is. Titanium is a little more open in the marketplace. It's a little more available as it goes with it. But when you're in a niche marketplace with something like niobium as your main stable that goes with it, you know, the big guys can't jump in and commoditize the market, if you will, with only 3 mines operating in the world. And it's a nice tight niche for the marketplace. So all of those factors in place, exciting future, I think, for growth when you look at technology and where it's going. And on the supply side, there's limited growth in those areas for these types of materials.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tracy. It's been a pleasure.